Howard Swint is with us, who's Democratic candidate for Congress in the 2nd Congressional District. Let me ask you about a couple other things. The Simpson-Bowles people are in Charleston today. Simpson and Bowles are here today to talk about the fiscal crisis facing this country. What is your take on the fiscal crisis facing our country, and what is your view as a candidate for Congress? What should we do?
Well, it's very deep and real. As a matter of fact, I was just down there and had to leave for this interview, so it was very interesting to hear Erskine Bowles talk about really where we are with a $16 trillion national debt. As a matter of fact, I've actually taken the Simpson-Bowles tax reform measure one step further, and I believe that we should eliminate all deductions.
All deductions.
Absolutely.
So that means your home mortgage deduction?
Especially the home mortgage deduction. Why? Because it actually distorts pricing in the housing market between the mortgage deduction, and by the way, you can reduce taxes accordingly so you're not penalized, but between the mortgage deduction and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac's interference, and I call it interference into the housing market place, and the what I call loose monetary policy by the Federal Reserve, you add those up, that helped create the housing bubble, which led to the financial crisis in this country. We don't need the federal government, and John Racy would agree with me on this, we don't need the federal government to actually micromanage individual sectors of the economy, and that's exactly what you do when you have a $500,000 mortgage deduction for your home. Come on, who does that benefit?
You've talked about, too, you've talked about restoring, quote, actuarial standards to Social Security and the Medicare trust funds. What do you mean by that? Simple.
It's something that Bernie Sanders has been saying for months now. What you do is you lift the cap on taxable income for Social Security, what's called the payroll tax, from $110,000 and put it up to $250,000. Overnight, literally overnight, you would create the actuarial soundness of the system to 75 years into the future. That means that the system that has benefited everybody to this day would be there for our children and grandchildren.
When you do that, then if you are making $200,000 or $250,000, and therefore, if the cap goes up to $250,000, you're contributing more to Social Security. Does your benefit go up?
Yeah, well, absolutely.
So your benefit goes up proportionally?
As I understand it, yes. Absolutely. And according to Bernie Sanders, that takes it to within actuarial soundness to 75 years into the future.
What about Medicare?
Medicare, I believe that we should have expanded Medicare to cover the 50 million Americans that were uninsured prior to the Affordable Care Act.
So put them on Medicare, not Medicaid.
That is correct. That's right, because the system is already in place. It's not the creation of a new government subsidy or government agency. I think it has great merit. And by the way, just like Erskine Bowles said today, who pays for the 50 million Americans who are uninsured when they go to the hospital, the emergency room? We do.
Well, everybody else who has insurance or who pays medical bills.
Yeah, economists.
Cost shifting.
Exactly. Economists call them free riders, and we're paying for it, and it's the most inefficient system that you can possibly imagine. Just think of the kid that has a toothache, doesn't get proper dental care, and then has to go to the emergency room, Hoppy?
Do you think the Obama health care plan law is the best way to go?
No, I still think that just expanding Medicare to cover everyone. You know, I had my next door neighbor move to Australia, and we Skyped each other the other day, and his kids and my kids, and he showed us the Medicare card for his kids. I thought, what's that all about? And he says, basically, we have Medicare for everyone. It's, for all intents and purposes, a single-payer system. Yes, you can buy additional insurance and everything, but very similar to the way Australia does it, and it evidently works.
Howard Swint, the time goes by quickly. Democratic candidate for Congress in the 2nd Congressional District. Thanks for coming on. Be safe on the campaign trail. It's good to talk to you.
I'm grateful to you, Hoppy. Thank you.
All right, man. Take care. We'll take a break and come back.